This is episode 43 of the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about the CrossFit Open 25.1 that was just released as we were recording, JK's recovery protocols during travel and leading up to a big race, training with full-time jobs and a family. How do you get it all in? And then Anthony's half marathon. That's mine. That I did this past weekend in Las Vegas, the Rock and Roll Half. Let's make hybrid fitness work for you. How's it going today, JK?
I'm good, Anthony. Hey.
It's episode 43. We probably said that in the beginning of this because I'll record a pre-intro after we talk about everything we're going to talk about. If anybody wants to know, the way we generally structure these is we're like, hey, JK, what are some topics we're going to do? And then we start adding topics to a little PowerPoint. So today we're going to be talking about some recovery protocols, High Rocks Brisbane, a short little preview, High Rocks Glasgow, probably not too much on either of those. You can go listen to Hybrid Sport Media about some of that stuff. And you can get all of JK's wonderful tips about every station. And then we'll talk about a comment we got that had a question. So we're going to talk about training when you only have 6 or 7 hours a week, when you have a full-time job and family. I ran a half marathon last weekend. We're going to talk slightly on that. And as we record this podcast, CrossFit Open 25.1 is released. So we're going to just touch on it. So anybody that wants to do it, because hey, I'm looking at it. This looks like a High Rocks or hybrid fitness specialist workout they could kill.
Absolutely.
I think Miriam Van Roor wins this one.
Are you going to put money on that already?
You know what? She might win this one out of the males and females.
Wow. Maybe, actually, yeah.
I actually think this is a really, really good workout for Lauren, too. So
Yeah,
just excited to see it. And JK's going to do it. So you guys will.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, you're going to do it. And you guys can see if it really is a High Rocks workout, if JK can beat James and Tia.
That's it. Now, Coach, just on that, when are you thinking of programming it for me?
Probably Sunday.
Sunday. There we go.
You need something spicy, and this is only 15 minutes of spicy, so
perfect. I'm excited for that.
It's a week and a half before Glasgow.
Yep. Perfect. I'm excited. But where will we start, Anthony? Where will we start today?
Well, let's just start with the CrossFit Open. Why not? We'll start there. We're already talking about it. So the workout, if anybody doesn't know, by the time this comes out, everybody probably will know. CrossFit Open 25.1. If you've never done the CrossFit Open, it's just a global community thing. You don't have to pay to sign up to do it, but you can if you want your name on a leaderboard forever, or as long as CrossFit's around. It looks like a fun workout, actually. Looks like a great one. It's what you do is you put on a clock, and this is specific for CrossFit. Put on a clock for 15 minutes, counting upward. And at the start, your back is turned to the dumbbell. 3, 2, 1, go. Do not turn around until you hear go. You turn around. You do 3 burpees over the dumbbell laterally.
Yep.
After the third burpee, you pick up the dumbbell, and you can start the first rep initially from the ground. You're going to do a clean to overhead with one arm of the dumbbell. And then you don't have to switch arms. You could literally do it all on one arm. So you do 3 reps of burpee, 3 reps of clean and jerk, or clean to overhead. And then you do a 30-foot walking lunge, which you actually just walking lunge out 15 feet and walking lunge back 15 feet. Okay?
Right.
After the first round, now you add 3 reps to both the burpee and the clean and to overhead rep. So now, after your first set of lunges, you do 6 burpees over the dumbbell and 6 hang clean to overhead, and then 30 foot of walking lunges. The 30 foot doesn't change, it's always 30 feet. So you just
Okay.
have 15 feet out and 15 feet back. If you're curious about what that is, 15 feet is 4.57 meters, uh, which is 9 meters or just over 9 meters for everyone. Uh, so that's your walking lunge rep.
Yeah, cool.
And then the next round, you would do 9 burpees, 9 dumbbell clean and jerks, 30 feet.
Yeah.
12, 12,
12,
30,
12.
15, 15, 30, 18, 18, 30. So as you can see, if actually let's quick start this and read it a little bit, and then we'll go into like some initial thoughts and tips and tricks. Okay. Uh, so you start standing tall with your back to the dumbbell. At 3, 2, 1, go. Turn around and perform 3 burpees over the dumbbell. Next, perform 3 dumbbell hang clean to overheads. Then perform 30 feet of walking lunges, which is 15 feet out and back or 4.57 meters out and back. Next, return to the dumbbell and perform 6 burpees over the dumbbell. Then 6 dumbbell hang clean to overhead. Then perform another 30 feet of walking lunges. Repeat the sequence, adding 3 reps to the burpees and the hang clean to overheads each round. The walking lunge distance stays at 30 feet. Your score will be the total number of repetitions performed within the 15-minute cap.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Jeez. There's going to be a lot of reps, isn't there? A
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
reps.
And just as a note, you're not allowed to use gymnastics grips. They say that so you don't have extra grip on the dumbbell, right? The first rep of each hang clean to overhead set may be taken directly from the ground. There is no requirement to pause at the hang on the first rep. You can choose either arm to complete the required reps, and you may switch hands at any time. After the rep is credited, you can switch hands. During the lunge, every 15-foot section is considered 1 rep. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so if you end in the middle of a 15-foot section, you won't get credit for that rep. There is no tiebreaker. Uh, all
Gotcha.
you need for this is 1 dumbbell. Depending on your division, is the weight of the dumbbell. Uh, just so you know, the largest plates allowed are 9 inches in diameter. Um, so that means that like it can't be when it's on the ground. But I don't know why you would do a 9 inch diameter change plate on there because then it's 4.5 inches off the ground versus like a normal dumbbell, which is lower to the ground, so it's easier to jump over.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it has to just reading, yeah, no fat bells and no other non-traditional dumbbells are allowed. And you got to put tape down for the lunges. The weight for men in the RX division is 50 pounds or 22 and a half kilograms. And for women is 35 pounds or 15 kilograms.
Yeah. So my initial response, Anthony, is our shoulders are going to feel it fairly early. And my first, no, yeah, I think I will probably alternate the hang clean and presses pretty early, just to save both shoulders, I guess. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely going to burn out your shoulders. The way I look at this workout is like, what's going to take the most amount of time? Like, where am I going to get stuck at in it? And for me, when I look at what's going to take the most amount of time and get stuck, is eventually the burpees. With the ascending rep scheme, the first round, the second round, maybe even the third round is not going to be too terrible.
Yeah,
Like almost pretty even. Like you just kind of there are going to actually want to go fast on the walking lunges.
yeah,
And you can kind of like get through those first 3 rounds fairly quickly. Like 3 reps of burpees and 3 reps of hang cleaned overhead is nothing. It's going to take less time than the first set of lunges is going to take.
yeah.
Um, that being said, the second round, it's going to be about equal. Like movements to lunges, right? The third round, the movements become more taxing. That being said, 9 burpees takes longer than 9 dumbbell clean to overheads. Okay.
Right.
For
So that's
me,
where it becomes a burpee
yeah. And
workout.
so after the third round here, this is a burpee workout.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
workout, like, and I haven't done it yet, so it'll I'll verify that. But to me, this workout's going to be burpees. How long does every burpee take me, right?
Mhm.
Because if the burpee's taking me 4 or 5 seconds a burpee, and I'm doing 1 second for every, or even 2 seconds for every hang clean and press or jerk, and then 30
Yeah.
feet of walking lunges. 30 feet of walking lunges is not much. It's like 10
No.
steps, right? So you can
Yeah.
almost go pretty quickly on that every time. So that's like 15 to 20 seconds for that every round. But the burpees take twice as long as the dumbbell movements.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
so it really does become a burpee workout after about 3 minutes into the workout.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and your shoulders are going to be burning up. The way I would do this, right, is I'd probably do round one. It's only three. I'm not going to switch hands on the dumbbell. I'm going to do all three on my right arm. On round two, it's 6 reps. Same thing, probably. I'm going to do all 6 on my right arm. And then I like to be equal. So the third round is nines. I've already done 9 on my right arm. I'm going to do all 9 on my left then. And
Okay.
then after the round of 9 is where I might do like 6, then 6, right?
Okay.
And if
That's a
one
good,
shoulder
yeah.
feels like it's taking more brunt of the work, I'll switch a little earlier or start with that one.
Yeah. That's interesting. When are you going to hit it, Anthony?
I don't know. I might do it today. I haven't worked out yet today, so.
Yeah, cool.
And I've had a habit in the past of whether or not I sign up for the Open this year. I've done open workouts 2, 3, 4 times in a weekend. So
Have you?
we'll
Yeah.
see. This one will really light my butt up with the lunges because lunges get me like that. But yeah, guys, if you're gonna give it a try, go ahead and look it up and get a scorecard. Make sure you have a judge, somebody helping you out. Even if you don't think you need a judge, get somebody to watch you and verify your reps because you might think you're doing it right, and it it sometimes our movement patterns are just not exactly what we think we're doing. Uh,
Yeah.
and so video
Yeah.
yourself or get it done. And if you're going to submit, then make sure you look up the video submission standards. Um, JK, and we'll talk about this a little bit because I'm sure you're going to do the workout. I know you're going to do the workout. How far do you think you're going to get?
I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to put time and the rep scheme in place there. Like, I've got no idea. I know for a fact it's a workout that I'm actually excited to do because it's fairly grunt work, and it's all about how much work you can do. So I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, obviously in the 20s or more.
Uh, yeah, I'm doing some math right now. I'm trying to think
Yeah,
of where um I'd end up. Think I might.
20.
I mean, maybe I'm overestimating, but I'm thinking like I could possibly get to 21 or 20 round of 24.
Mm.
So you're a little faster at burpees. What do you think you'd be able to get to?
I reckon if that's the case, I'm gonna beat you by.
This is interesting. I want the listeners to guess, but like obviously we're gonna put our scores up at some point. I want them to guess who do you think's gonna win in this workout, JK or me?
Yep, please drop it below, or please let us know. Now, I I'll put I don't know what I'll put on it, but I'm I'm being confident that I'll beat you in this one, Anthony. However, as of next week, I don't think I will have a chance because there'll be more skill based CrossFit movements. But I reckon I might hit a 27. I might. hit the 27 set, but who knows, man. So
I
if you do it today, I'll do it Sunday. Yeah, that'll be good.
I don't know exactly what you're gonna do. Um, but I think you doing the round of 27 is gonna be quite a feat.
Is it okay? All right, all right.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
know, but I actually I didn't watch the open announcement. Like we said, it just happened as we started recording. So
yeah,
maybe I don't know what those guys got to. So I might be spitting out my butt here what we're doing. Uh, this workout is going to be very similar to the one we did against each other last year, though. It's the
yeah,
only
it's
one we
very
got to
smart.
do, right?
This
And
time last
it's
year, thereabouts, we're in Washington, and the four of us, Anthony, myself, and Lauren and Georgie, did the 24.1.
yep,
Yeah,
24.1, which was 21:15.9 of all right arm dumbbell snatches, all left arm dumbbell snatches, and then burpees over the dumbbell.
yeah.
Um, this one, that one last year, I finished at 8:09, and
Okay.
I think you and Lauren finished like six something.
I remember because Lauren beat me by like 30 seconds. Lauren did like a 6:20, and I did just under 7.
Did you
Um,
do under seven? I thought you did like a seven something.
I swear, I thought I just did under 7. Actually, go whilst you're here, listener. If you want to actually
6:30.
have a, Lauren did 6:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have it on our YouTube channel, Georgie and my YouTube channel. If you want to go have a look, this time last year. So, um, and on that, just we've got Hyrox Brisbane, as you said, Anthony, this weekend. But I'm not racing, and Georgie is racing. I will be doing the CrossFit workout on Sunday, and Tia declared to me and James Newbury are racing. So it's just a funny weekend because I'm a CrossFit High Rocks athlete, but I'm doing a CrossFit workout. And then Tia, Claire Toomey, and James Newbury probably won't do the open workout till Monday, I'm assuming. I hope they don't do it till Monday because it'll wreck them for their doubles on Sunday.
I mean, I don't think it will. Those guys do so much, and
Yeah, true,
they don't
actually.
actually have to go so hard on this that it would crush them. But you don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
All right. Um, we're gonna move on. We talked about the CrossFit Open 25.1. I really like the workout. If you're a High Rocks athlete, this is a great workout to start with. You don't have to sign up for the Open to do the workout. You can just see where you would have been on the leaderboard,
Yeah,
right? So if you
yeah.
have reservations about signing up, you don't have to. Uh, it is a really fun thing to be part of a fitness community and to dive into that. And you don't have to like be involved in all the any political thing that goes along with it. You can just have fun and be
That's it.
enjoy fitness, right?
Exactly.
All right, JK, something we want to talk about here is you are about to have a big flight, right? You're flying from Australia to Singapore, then Singapore to London, and then eventually London to Glasgow. You
Yep,
have a long trip. You leave at in the morning on one day and you arrive at 6 a.m. in the morning the next day. That's a
yep,
lot of travel. You also have a 5 hour layover in there. Um, so that's adds to it. Um, we looked up gyms at the airport you're going to have a layover in, but
yeah.
sometimes you don't always have the gyms. What I want to know is what do you do during these flights, and really what are your like recovery protocols? Because we talk about, yes, the most important thing is fueling and sleep, right? But there's other little things that go along that can actually help. So what kind of recovery protocols do you have?
I think the first thing to note is that unless I'm sleeping on the plane, I'm not just sitting there and and not moving. I try to get up and move as much as possible on the plane. Movement is key on the actual flight itself, and then just I'll just run you through what I'm thinking for my layover for recovery. I've got 5 hours, right? One of the biggest things for me is making sure that I keep hydrated. And I'll be packing a lot of my scratch hydration that I get from the feed in my carry-on. So I'll just have plenty of the scratch hydration formula. Um, and then from there, I want to make sure that I move in that 5 hours. So as Anthony said, we did just have a look at the gym at the Singapore airport. If all goes well, I'll be able to get in there and do some just light movement. What I'm thinking, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony, it might just be as simple as body weight movement and maybe even like a light jog or an incline hike or something on the treadmill. Nothing too strenuous. And then obviously um, try to rest as well though, because the one thing that I've realized again, traveling from Australia and having these long flights, I try to think about comes about everything that um, comes to play when you're flying, and trying to negate your whole being with stress as stress, right? If that made no sense. Like I want to make sure that yes, I'm moving when I can, but also the sleep factor is so important, and that is like, and it's so important to rest your legs when you can. When I end up landing in London, it's 6 a.m. in the morning. So even though it's 6 a.m. in the morning, I need to listen to my body, right? Which means if I feel like I need to sleep, I will listen to that. And if I can have a couple of hours that morning of proper sleep where I'm lying horizontally in a bed, it'll just do me wonders to be able to recover from that flight. But then, once again, movement as soon as I land as well. If I feel okay, I'll probably go for an easy jog or do some sort of movement that day as well. Recovery protocols, apart from like making sure that I'm on track with my hydration and my nutrition, that's pretty much just a self-explanatory to me. I'll be packing my compression boots that I've actually got from the feed as well. You can actually buy compression boots on the feed as well. And I'll be taking them with me to London. I'm going to try to actually have them on me carry on so I can actually use them in Singapore as well, Anthony. And then obviously try to use them once I land as well. But other things such as like sauna and ice bath, and um, scraping and like just pure mobilizing, um, and all the rest of the whole recovery protocols that we normally use, right? But at the end of the day, you need to decide what you want to focus on as well. I'm just trying to think of if there's anything else that I've left out there. Um, Oh, the one thing that I try to as well do is because it's very easy for me on a plane not to eat. It's actually easy for me to sleep, and then all of a sudden it's like a 12-hour flight, and I haven't had any nutrition in 12 hours. I want to make sure that I've packed the nutrition that I want, which is so important as well. I think that kind of covers most of the recovery stuff that I do whilst traveling, Anthony.
Yeah, I think you did a really good job. Like you said, guys, if you want to check it out, it's on a lot of the stuff is on the feed if you want, or just any other thing. But one thing really important about recovery is that it shouldn't be your training and beating yourself down and training on top of extra fatigue. Like when you recover and everything, you get more out of your workouts when you're recovered for them. So this isn't only during race week, only during that type of stuff. This should be consistent throughout your training, consistently recover, consistently do these things, figure out what feels good for you.
Yeah.
Use anything, whether it's recovery gear, rollers, compression, whatever it is, for those marginal gains. That's what you want to be looking at. And I think
That's
JK did
it.
a great job there describing the things that he does. And it's important to do it not just for big races, but for a lot of your training.
Yeah, for sure. For sure,
Absolutely.
yeah. Is there anything else that you do, Anthony, like um that I
No,
didn't mention?
you covered a lot. So, and I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not like in that pro athlete time. So I focus most of my energy on less mobility and recovery rather than it is like the time I do have, I use it for my workouts. And that's actually something that we're going to come up into now is
Yeah.
we got a comment. So we got a comment from someone. It just said, I just started watching your podcast. It is very informative. I'm a beginner high rocks athlete. Like many others, I have a full-time job and a family and can only train for 6 or 7 hours a week. I'd be curious for your thoughts on about how prioritizing or building a training plan within those limits. So I'm curious about how do you do it when you only have 6 or 7 hours a week, a full-time job and family? I can relate to this. I have a family. I have actually what feels like multiple full-time jobs. So I work as an engineer, civil engineer, for a special inspection geotechnical and environmental firm. Uh, and I also obviously help my wife run and manage the hybrid engine while we take care of our daughter. We do the podcast. So I understand it. Sometimes I don't get to train. Now, when you only have 6 or 7 hours a week, you got to distill it down to what you're capable of doing within that time, and then what the triage, what your priorities are for that time, and what kind of things can you bundle up. Now, I don't want to say it's not hard, but like one of the things I had to do is I don't always have time when Lily's awake to be able to go do this, and she usually takes a nap, but I'm working during that time. So one of the things that I have been consistently in the past and trying to get back into more recently because my workouts have been slipping is I would actually wake up. I wake up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning. I do my workouts for that hour or two before anybody else is awake, before I go to work. I so I have like my time there where it's like peaceful in the morning, time for me to be able to like get my runs in, do some warm-ups, get that initial stimulus and work on the things I want to work on and be able to work on. Uh, and then in the afternoon, after I'm done with work, I've come back. I try to get up out of my chair throughout the day, walk around. I usually just take like a walk around the office when I'm in the office, or walk up and down the stairs if I'm working from home. And I just try to make sure that I walk around. I look for the other things that I can do properly, that could help, you know, focus. So like I when I go out to eat, if I have to go out to eat for a work thing, I don't mind ordering the thing that's healthy from the menu. When I'm at home, I try to order the thing, or I try to eat the things that I know like won't disrupt my stomach, or the things that I know won't be detrimental to me and my goals of fitness throughout the day. So I try to maximize the other areas in my life that contribute to fitness with that when I have limited time to perform what I want to perform. Right.
I
Um,
I think that's big. Just quickly, Anthony, I think that's big because I'm the first to say it's a little bit different because I'm doing this professionally now. But I remember back in the day, if I ate well early on in the day, I'm gonna feel as if I want to train that afternoon. If I don't eat well and at at the start of the day, 9 times out of 10, um, I'm not feeling good to actually want to do that 15 or 30 minute training session in the afternoon.
and something really important on that too is like understand how your body feels. It's hard when you wake up in the morning and you're supposed to have like a hard, intense session or something. Just back off. Start with getting the work in. Like eventually your intensity will come, but don't back off. It's better to like my theory is like always it's better to do it at lower intensity than it
Yeah.
is to miss it because you're scared of how hard you have to go or something, right? Same thing applies to the afternoon. Like if I get it in the morning, just the other day, I was very sore. We'll talk about this too, but like I was very sore. So what did I do? I was in the afternoon. I had Lily. It was after work. I stretched. I got down. Lily's like watching TV or she was running around and we had Bluey on. And I asked her like, "Hey, get down on this yoga mat with me." And we just stretched together. Like it was bonding time. It was time with my family and I was accomplishing things. So you have to start pairing things up like that.
Yeah.
It's important to be able to do that kind of stuff. When you're limited on time, you have to fit it in where you can. And so, yes, ideally, you're consistently moving for like 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, but 5 minutes is better than skipping it.
Yeah.
15 minutes is better than skipping it. So go out there and, oh, I don't have a ton of time. I'm just going to do like 5 rounds. I don't have a lot of time to like set up a bench press and do something. Okay, well go out there, grab a set of dumbbells, do like 20 curls alternating, some strict press and some bent over rows. Do that 5 rounds through. Get a small stimulus on your arms, on your
Yep.
chest, like that you are going to get from setting up your bench press, but you don't have the time to do it. So you gotta make do with what you have.
You said this in you did this in a podcast maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, Anthony, where you set a timer when you were working. For every half an hour you did 50 air squats, I'm pretty sure it was.
30
How
push-ups
are
and
you,
50 air squats.
that's right, yeah. How easy is it to do that? Just to create movement,
I
create
mean,
volume, right?
I was doing that every half an hour. I knew I had like 3 hours of work to do, and I did that every half an hour. And so by the end of it, I'm, what was it, 300 plus air squats in, like 200 push-ups in, like 180 push-ups and 300 plus
Exactly.
air. Like that's a good workout. That's good volume for the day too.
Yep.
No, I didn't get like an aerobic boost from running or anything, but I could go do like a 5 or 10 minute run, and at least start something like that, get some sort of heart rate response.
Yeah.
At some point, you, it's being creative and fitting it in.
Yep.
Uh,
Um,
that kind of leads
you go.
like I've missed a couple days. Like I don't know if you can see, I'm getting like
No, you're
uh,
not, mate. No, you're not.
I I am I'm about 15 pounds heavier than I was about 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Um, so. But I'm also trying to get back into uh my fitness, right? I'd like to be able to get back into it. And the way I do that is I set a goal. So for example, I had the goal of running with you in Las Vegas, team doubles.
Okay.
Another thing is like I'm looking at, future races. Now I have this like goal of running at Worlds with someone. And I also have like this last weekend, I got asked, I like being available to do races whenever somebody asks. And last week, I was asked by some people at the feed, the owner, Matt, he's like, "Hey, we're going to be in Vegas. You guys want to run this rock and roll half marathon with us?" I didn't realize there was also a 10K, but I said yes to the half marathon, and they were all running the 10K. I should have ran the 10K. But I used it as an opportunity. I just was like, well, I'm going to run this as a training run. Uh,
Nice.
I didn't do a threshold that week, and I was like, I'm going to basically test my threshold. Just for example, I ran a half marathon this last weekend just because I needed to. That's why I was sore this earlier this week. Um, I ran the Rock and Roll Las Vegas. My thresholds that I run at when I run my threshold workouts are 9.0 miles per hour, so a 640 per mile pace,
Yep.
right? Um, I went and ran the half marathon. Can you guess at 1 hour where was I at? How many miles
640.
in? What?
Oh, sorry. How many how many miles in? Were you at 9?
I was at 8.95 miles at 1 hour exactly.
That's awesome.
8.95. So I was 5 hundredths of a mile. So just what is that? Like 80 meters away from being exactly on my threshold
Threshold.
pace for the first hour. I deteriorated a little bit after that, but that at least tells me that, okay, that seems that I was about at my anaerobic threshold, my 1 hour pace.
Yeah.
And I got to test it doing a run around
Yep.
people and it was fueled and everything. It was so great. And in doing that, you know what? Why don't I share this so that everybody can see? Oh, share. So you guys can all see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So look at my heart rate. After like the first mile, look how steady it was.
Yeah. Very steady.
And
Very
then
steady.
at the very end, I like tried to run some sprints because my goal was to break an hour and a half. My PR half marathon is like a 127. Except for, well, when I ran my downhill marathon, I had like a 124 in the first half, but this one 120, I was like, okay, if I just run a half, how can I get under 130 was the goal. Hit
Yep.
129.57. Um, as you can see, like the splits here, 627, 636, 633, 644, 43, 640, 36, 54, 658, 650. So here's the 1 hour mark. And I was pretty consistent, right? Like, yeah, there's a spread of about 30 seconds, but it was also because there were some downhill and uphills.
Mm.
Um, and then after that point, you can see like my heart rate average 134, 160, 166, 66. That's about threshold range for me, staying right under that 170. And then I definitely spiked. My max heart rate at one point during the race was 205.
Wow. Was that at the end?
That was at the very end over here. And that's because with about half a mile left, I was like, I'm going to run some 20-second strides so I can break this. I was right on pace to hit that sub 1 hour, 1 hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so pace was moving well, and you can see I had a couple over 7 minutes after the hour mark. But yeah, I felt
That's
pretty
awesome,
good.
mate. I think moral of this story is like I've had a lot of athletes or even a lot of friends that I talk to lately that even have said to me like as soon as you complete a goal, or as soon as you achieve something, um, understand that it's okay to feel as if you don't have the same motivation. Or the best way to put this is after a race, it's okay to have those 2 to 3 days or even a week of just like feeling it, having those like days where you're trying to figure out, okay, what's next. But the biggest thing to do is to try to find something that's what's next, or try to find what is going to be next. And where I'm going here is, and you've already touched on it, Anthony, is like for you as a person, and I'm exactly the same. I need a goal. I need a goal to stay motivated. And if you are like this as well, make sure you keep yourself accountable like that, and have a look at races, whether it is high rocks or hybrid races. That's around you, or even those road races that that you did on the weekend. But it's very common to um, you know, have more motivation when you do lock in a goal.
Absolutely. It's something that like it kind of just puts pressure on you to say, hey, here's my target. I need to be able to do this because you're holding yourself accountable. Now, sometimes that doesn't work. Some people just like to work out to work out. And that's fine. That's you do that too. Just
Yeah,
remember, like, do your conditioning. It's very, very helpful in life in general, as well as some kind of resistance training. That could be lifting weights or using resistance bands. But if you want some sort of reaction in your body, you got to add a stimulus like that.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely, definitely.
and going from there, I think we covered a lot of what we're going to cover. So, do you want to talk just briefly about High Rocks Brisbane?
Brisbane, yes. So it's tomorrow for us. So it's Friday morning here in Australia. Starts tomorrow. It's exciting. It's the second Hyrox in Brisbane. Last year was the first one, and it's an exciting race because we've got a couple of big names um, racing. I think the first thing to say is I
Hunter.
personally,
Hunter's going to be there.
he is going to be there. He is going to be there. He's planning to race the men's pro, I think, um, and then doubles with Joanna on Sunday. So the the biggest race for me on the weekend is my fiance Georgie is racing in women's pro on Saturday night. So that'll be very exciting. She's ready to go. And then from my end, I've been coaching James Newbury and Tia Claire Toomey for the last 2 months, and they're racing in mixed doubles against Hunter and Joanna and many other athletes, obviously. But that's on Saturday afternoon as well. Um, if you don't follow Hybrid Sports Media, go follow them on Instagram because as in my sister is going to live stream the mixed doubles on Sunday. I think it's 2:50 p.m. Um, Sunday Brisbane time.
So
So
2:50 p.m. you said?
2:50 p.m. Brisbane time.
So, if anybody's curious and you live in the Pacific coast of the United States, 2:50 p.m. in Brisbane, or is it 2:50? Is that what you said?
2:50 p.m. Yeah,
2:50 p.m. in Brisbane is going to be 8, no, yeah, 8:50 p.m. on the Pacific coast the day before.
gotcha. Yeah, so you'll be good. And um, I think I explained last week that I'm not racing and I'm just being a CrossFitter this weekend doing the 25.1 workout on Sunday. So um, yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. I'm like just on this, Anthony. I'm excited to be at a High Rocks race and not race. Although it was a little bit I had to, I don't know what's the right thing to say. I had to check my ego a little bit not racing because um, it's my hometown. Brisbane is my hometown, and I raced last year and whatnot. But I'm happy to say a day out of the race or the day out of the event that I'm not racing. So if you're there in Brisbane and you're listening to this, please come up and say hello. And I'll be there on Saturday afternoon and then Sunday afternoon for sure.
Right. So, JK, you did ask me, "Hey, do I need to should I do this?" We talked about like whether or not you were going to do it. Um, and I think the answer just was why, right?
Yeah.
Was it just ego wanting to defend your turf?
Yep.
And
That's exactly right.
we came up with the idea of like, all right, well, maybe not this time. You'll be back. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Australia, JK still wants to race there.
Yeah. But
Just
like just on that, like that's exactly what it was. Like if I said yes to racing, my ego would have said yes to racing. It wouldn't have been the smartest decision for my goals moving forward in this season. Um, Going to Glasgow on Monday, going to Houston after Glasgow, I'm racing pro doubles with Jake Did, and then obviously getting ready for Worlds after that. I mean, here's another quick thing. If I race on in Brisbane this weekend, yeah, cool. I may feel okay for Glasgow, feel okay for Houston, but there's probably more chance that that race on the weekend would actually catch up to me at some point because if I raced in Brisbane this weekend, I would race three Hyrox races a in a in a
2 weeks.
14-day window. Crazy. absolutely crazy. So,
And I mean,
um,
two of them, and not to say that Brisbane wouldn't be important, but the other two are pretty important ones.
absolutely,
So
absolutely. So, yeah, moral of the story, I diluted my ego and I listened to my coach, and I'm the biggest Georgie Vesley supporter on the weekend.
good. Roles are reversed.
Roles are reversed for once.
So, just going through, since you talked about Glasgow, maybe we'll talk about it more next week. I mean, actually, I don't know if you're going to be on next week because you'll be
I'll be on next week.
okay.
I'll be on next week.
All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll calculate that then. We'll figure that out. So great. If JK is on next week, which would just be fantastic, we'll talk more about Glasgow then, because that's going to come up and what your travels and everything are going to be like. You'll already be in the UK at that point,
Yep.
and we'll talk about I was there three or four people? Is there four of you guys that are flying Glasgow to Houston? You're doing the Glasgow race and then the Houston doubles?
Jake and I.
Oh, you, Jake, Joanna, Lauren, Dylan?
I don't think Dylan's doing Glasgow, is he?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think. Oh, I don't know, but I heard that he's not racing Glasgow. So,
Okay.
I think if that's the case, it's Jake and I, and then Lauren and Joanna, which is which is crazy.
You guys are going to be tired.
Yeah. Yep. But
So,
hey, yeah, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
all right. So we'll talk about Glasgow next week. More likely than not, the lineup will be posted then. I think we know what the lineup is already, but um, just to have it solidified, we'll wait until Hyrox announces it.
Perfect.
And then, yeah, uh, I think JK, you got to jump off.
I've got to run.
So,
Um, I've got a 10K easy run with some strides to get done, Anthony. So, thank you for listening once again, guys. If you have any feedback, if you have anything, questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch on Instagram, jk.jameskelly.
and I'm Anthony Parasini with the Hybrid Engine. You can find us on Instagram at the Hybrid Engine. You can look up my wife, Lauren Weeks, or you can look up me, a Wild Parasini. Um, the Hybrid Engine would be on Instagram or YouTube or our website. You can find us any way possible. We're happy to talk. But anyway, guys, have a great day. Thank you for listening to the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. If you'd like to get in contact with James Kelly to seek out some coaching or for general questions and inquiries, please go to Instagram and find him at jk.jameskelly. Or you can find him and Georgie Vesley on YouTube at James Kelly and Georgie Vesley. If you'd like to contact Anthony or seek out programming or coaching questions from the Hybrid Engine, please go to Instagram at the Hybrid Engine or at a Wild Parasini. Thank you again. Have a great day.